Hi everybody, let's take a look at the PerObject formatting capabilities that have been introduced in Release 9. Release 9 includes many new editing features that are really useful for GIS, and one of them is the ability to edit styles, formatting, on a PerObject basis. What we're looking at here is a Release 9 display. We have a map that's open. The map shows a couple of layers here. There's one called Monaco, which we can turn on and off. There's a Bing Maps satellite layer in background, which we'll turn off. We're going to work with the Monaco layer. And as you know, in pretty much all the Manifold releases that have been done today from the Radiant series, Radiant Future, Manifold Future, and Release 9 and so forth, by default, if we apply style applies to everything in the entire layer. So here, for example, we've opened a drawing called France, and we can change the formatting either from this palette and apply a different palette, or we can apply color, change the color to that format, and everything applies to the entire layer at once. Now suppose we'd like to just change the formatting of a particular object. We can do that as well, and what we need to do to have that, to make that possible, is that in the table for the drawing there has to be at least one text field in the table. And here, if we open up the Monaco table, we can see there's 3 text fields. One's called Style 2, the other's called Style 3. I've added these using the Edit Schema dialog, where we can add a new text field. These are nvar characters, so they're fields, so they're Unicode fields. They don't have to be; they could be var character, but I always add them as Unicode fields just for the heck of it. And by tradition, I always name my text field style, so that because I know I'm going to be using them later on to store style, PerObject style, if I want to do that. So if you have a text field in the table, you can do PerObject formatting. If you don't, you can add a text field easily enough. So to turn on PerObject formatting, we click in the Contents pane here, go to the Style panel, we click Options, where we click Per Record Style, and we click Use Per Record Style. And you can choose which field you want to use of the text fields. I'll choose the first one called Style. So I'll click OK. And then what we've done is we've enabled PerObject formatting. Whenever we do PerObject formatting, the formatting for that object is going to be stored in the field called Style. So how do we actually use this? We actually use PerObject formatting by selecting by a particular record, a particular object. So we can alt-click on this one right here, and that automatically launches it in the record pane. And we have 3 tabs here in the record pane: the values, which shows the record values for it, the coordinates, and the style. If I want to change the style, let's say I just want to change this to a blue color, I can do that like this. Click Update Record, and it changes to blue. Notice here that in the style well for the fill color, the style well fill color has this new little icon here, which indicates it is a PerObject format. If I want to change this, for example, let's change the surrounding color to this weird magenta color. That will appear like that as well. Now let's change it back to black. I like that better. If we look at the style here, we can see that we have JSON that specifies what the styles are. This is read-only because it is set through the style dialog. But if we like later on in the MFD meta table or whatever, since everything is a table in Manifold, we can manipulate this however we choose. To set the PerObject format for this object right there, we all click on that, and let's change the style of that one to say, let's make that bright yellow. So there, we've updated those as well. Note that the back in the main style dialog, we still have everything going as we did before. The same palette is applied as before. It's just that these 2 objects are now exceptions. These 2 objects now have their own style capabilities. How will we actually use this? Well, there's many ways to use it besides changing the colors of particular objects that we want to change manually. Specifically, for example, here's a layer called Antennas, where we have a layer of points. I'll turn off the Monaco layer so we can see what the points are. By default, these are all formatted in the same way. They all use the same color. But if we like, we can turn on Per Record Style for those as well. The Antennas table also, I'll open it right here for a moment, also has a field called Style, which is a text field. And if we like, let's turn Monaco back on. And the antenna's back on. Let us now change some of the formatting for these antennas. So let's take this one right here. Let's I'll click on it to choose it. And here in the style, let's use a symbol. And let's see, we're here in Font Awesome, a collection of dialogues. Let's make that one a, I don't know, let's make it a motorcycle. There we go. Click Update Record, and there it is. And let's make that a bigger display. Let's make it 36 points in size. Let's make it a nice large motorcycle. And now here, let's change this one. Let's change this one to let's change it to something else. Let's change that to oh, let's make it a truck. Trucks are cool. And also we need to change the size on that, because we're now doing per object style. We're applying the same formatting to every the formatting that's in this style tab for this particular record to only that record, and that record only. If we like, we can let's change this one here. And for the style, let's make that. Let's change the symbology on that to. Let's see. Let's use wingdings. Everybody loves wingdings. So way down here in wingdings are some numbers. Let's change that one to number 3. And let's make that a nice big 36.3 as well. So as you can see here, what we've done is we've changed the formatting in each of these individual points. If at any time we want to go back to the kind of default way of doing this, we can go back here to the style dialog, and we can per record style, and we can click that off, and that's now gone. But those fields that we added to that table are still there. So if we want to put the per record style back on, we can turn it back on again, and it will use what's stored in those fields. We can see those fields here in the antennas table, what was added to each one of them. So these are all fully editable too. So let's say, and this one here, which is a motorcycle, we want to make that a truck. Great. Let's right click here, choose copy, choose paste there, and oh, we made it a 3. Excuse me, I changed the number 3 there. So let's do this again. Let's try to do this a little bit more diligently. Let's make it a truck here. That's the truck icon. Paste. There you go. And click View, refresh. We're just zooming it out, and there it is. So that way we can see how this human-readable style specification is being applied on a per object basis, or a per record basis, as Manifold calls it, to the symbology. That's a pretty cool deal, because that enables us to utilize programmatic means, queries, and that sort of thing to automatically change what the icons are and what the symbology is for any of these things. So we have many different ways of doing that now. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed this quick, very superficial, very simple introduction to per object formatting in Release 9. And goodbye from Manifold Release 9 land. Well, that was fun. If you want to see more, visit us at www.manifold.net. As always, Manifold delivers the world's most advanced, highest quality spatial products for GIS and DBMS at a low price that you can afford. Once again, that's manifold.net. See you soon.